Welcome back, America. I have my friend, former U.S. Attorney for the state of Utah, Brett Tolman, with us. He's head of the Tolman Group, former federal prosecutor, executive director of Right on Crime. Brett Tolman, I was chief of staff to Attorney General Meese. You were a U.S. attorney. If there's a case, let's say you come in and you're a U.S. attorney, and you look at this case and you say, wait a minute, this is a Mickey Mouse case. My predecessor shouldn't have brought this case. Are you compelled to pursue that case anyway? If you're Attorney General of the United States and you look at a case and you say, wait a minute, not only is the timing of this case odd, this is a chicken blank case. And so the Attorney General ultimately is in charge and says, no, I think we're going to drop that case. I'm talking about the case with Eric Adams, the mayor of New York. I have read the charges against this guy about upgrades and airlines, stuff like that. And I thought, oh, my God, the Southern District of New York, are you serious? I thought it was a very weak case. And there are other attorneys who think it's a very weak case. And so why all the hubbub about the fact that the Department of Justice has said, you know what, we're dropping this case?
Well, Mark, only an individual who actually does not have a backbone, does not have the intelligence and the wisdom, believes that they have to just pursue the case because some bureaucrat, some lower level prosecutor decided they were going to use the criminal justice system to go after somebody regardless of whether the facts and the law justified it. But you don't have that in Pam Bondi. And she's not afraid of what people say about her. And right now, I think what she's doing is entirely appropriate, which is give me and show me all the cases that have been brought under a really bad Department of Justice led by a really bad Attorney General. And that is exactly what she should be doing. And I've seen this case. I agree with you. As you remember, your boss, Ed Meese, he was one in which he would call up prosecutors and thank them when they dismissed a case because he knew that they were exercising their power thoughtfully and respectively to the law. I've never forgotten that he used to do that, and I admired him for it.
You know, Brett Tolman, this used to be not commonplace, but understood throughout the federal prosecutorial system. The Attorney General of the United States, Robert Jackson, former Attorney General, former Supreme Court Justice, gave that famous speech as Attorney General in 1940, that prosecutors need to be careful. The prosecutors, he said, are the most powerful people on earth domestically, excluding war, and that they need to be careful about what they do and how they do it, and public statements they make, and witnesses they call, and so forth and so on. The power they have is enormous. And your point, and Attorney General Meese's point was, it takes courage and it takes power to say no, or to pull back and say that's a bad case. That the entire United States Department of Justice doesn't have to follow the lead of a handful of assistant U.S. attorneys in the Southern District of New York, which I think is your point. The Attorney General has a responsibility to look at these things herself.
Oh, that's exactly right. And if you look at what we have done as a country with prosecutors in the Department of Justice, we have expanded their authority and we've shrunk the accountability and transparency around them. When you do that, and then you promulgate all these different regulations with criminal penalties and additional criminal statutes, you've just established a recipe for someone that's willing to compromise their ethics and abuse their position, which we learned they were willing to do under Merrick Garland. You have just created a disaster for the implementation of our criminal justice laws in this country. And so you saw targeted individuals, from the person who was praying outside of an abortion clinic to targeting conservatives and for their religion, to all of the efforts to go after individuals that they didn't like what their political leanings were. That's what we saw happens when you don't have a strong Attorney General.
When we come back, Brett Tolman, isn't it the ethical responsibility of the Department of Justice to police itself? And what I mean by that is, if the Department of Justice doesn't police itself with its tens of thousands of employees, thousands of prosecutors, then nobody's going to do it. And so when Pam Bondi comes in, and a new group comes in, and they're looking at what was done to Donald Trump and what was done to other people, shouldn't they look at it to make sure whatever was done in a proper way? And isn't one of the reasons why they're getting a lot of pushback is because people are afraid about what they're actually going to find? I want to pursue that with you when we return. We'll be right back.